Kong. Skull Island is a 2017 American monster film directed by Jordan Vogt-Roberts. It is a reboot of the King Kong franchise and serves as the second film in Legendary's MonsterVerse, as well as the 11th film in the King Kong franchise. The film was announced in July 2014 at San Diego Comic-Con, and Vogt-Roberts was announced as the director in September 2014. The project initially began at Universal Pictures as an origin story, but was later moved to Warner Bros. Kong. Skull Island was theatrically released on March 10, 2017, to generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for its visual effects, action sequences, and performances, particularly Jackson and Reilly. It was also a box office success, grossing $566 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing installment in the MonsterVerse to date. The film received a Best Visual Effects nomination at the 90th Academy Awards. A sequel, Godzilla vs. Kong, was released on March 24, 2021. In 1944, two World War II fighter pilots, American pilot Hank Marlowe and Japanese pilot Gunpei Ikari, parachute onto an island in the South Pacific after a dogfight and engage in close combat until a fight is interrupted by a giant ape. In 1973, Bill Randa, head of the U.S. government organization Monarch, plans a search for primeval creatures on the recently discovered Skull Island. He recruits a U.S. Army unit commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Preston Packard, tracker and former British Special Air Service Captain James Conrad, and anti-war photographer Mason Weaver. Arriving at Skull Island, Packard's men begin dropping seismic explosives, developed by Randa's seismologist Houston Brooks, to map out the island and prove Brooks' Hollow Earth theory. The unit is then attacked by the giant ape, scattering the survivors across the island. Two groups form between the survivors, one with Conrad, Weaver, Neves, the researchers, and one of the soldiers, the other with Randa and the rest. Packard searches for the transport helicopter piloted by Major Jack Chapman, intending to use the weapons on board to kill the ape. Conrad's group encounters the local Iwi natives and an older Marlowe. Marlowe tells the group the giant ape, named Kong, protects the island from predators, including a race of subterranean reptilian creatures he dubs skullcrawlers, responsible for killing Kong's entire species, leaving him the last of his kind. The Iwi believe when Kong dies, a giant skullcrawler will awaken and ravage the island. Marlowe reveals he and Ikari had become friends during their time on the island, but Ikari was killed by a skullcrawler some time ago. As Chapman is ambushed and devoured by a skullcrawler, Conrad's group helps Marlowe finish a boat made from parts of Marlowe's and Ikari's down planes. They ride down the river, where Neves is torn apart by carnivorous birds, and secure communication with Packard's group. When they regroup with Packard, he insists on searching for Chapman. Marlowe leads them through a mass grave of dinosaurs and Kong's family members. The skullcrawler that killed Chapman attacks them, killing Randa and others before Weaver triggers a flammable gas explosion that kills it. Learning of Chapman's death, Packard reveals his plan to kill Kong and avenge his fallen men. Marlowe and Brooks attempt to explain that killing Kong would lead to the skullcrawlers running rampant, but Packard refuses to listen. The groups part ways, with Packard's group retrieving the weapons from Chapman's chopper and laying a trap for Kong at a nearby lake, while the non-military personnel head back to the boat. Conrad and Weaver meet Kong up close and, seeing his true peaceful nature, resolve to save him. Packard's group lures Kong with the remaining seismic charges and incapacitates him with ignited napalm. Conrad, Weaver, and Marlowe arrive, and after a standoff, persuade the other soldiers to spare Kong, but Packard refuses to yield. As the others retreat, the giant skullcrawler emerges from the lake, and Kong crushes Packard. The skullcrawler fights and overpowers Kong, but in the end, the ape is victorious with the humans' help. The survivors reach the rendezvous point and leave the island as Kong stoically watches. In a pre-end credit scene, Marlowe reunites with his wife and meets his son for the first time. In a post-credit scene, Monarch detains and recruits Conrad and Weaver. San Lin and Brooks inform them that Kong is not the only monster king and show archive footage of cave paintings depicting Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. The final image shows Godzilla and Ghidorah in battle.